Listen to me closely, because the next few minutes are not about making you feel good. They are not about hyping you up so you can run through a wall for 10 minutes and then crash back into your old habits an hour later. No, this is about the truth that you have been avoiding, the quiet, heavy truth that sits in the corner of your room when you turn out the lights at night. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It is that nagging sensation, that hollow ache in your chest that tells you, without a single word being spoken, that you are wasting your potential. You are floating. You are waiting. And the terrifying reality is that you are waiting for a moment that is never going to come. You have this script in your head. We all do. It's a movie scene where suddenly the clouds part, the music swells, you feel a surge of unlimited energy, and that is the day you finally start. That is the day you clean the house. That is the day you launch the business. That is the day you get in shape. You are waiting for the feeling of readiness. But let me tell you something that might hurt, but it is necessary to hear. That feeling? It's a lie. It is a biological trick designed to keep you safe, keep you small, and keep you exactly where you are. If you are waiting to feel like it, you will be waiting until you are in the ground. The world is full of people who have incredible potential. They are smart, they are talented, they have good hearts, and they are going to die with all of that music still inside them. Not because they couldn't do it, but because they couldn't force themselves to move when the water was cold. They couldn't force themselves to take the first step into the fog. You have to understand the mechanics of your own mind if you want to break this prison. Your brain is not designed for success. It is designed for survival. And to your primitive brain, survival means safety. It means comfort. It means conserving energy. Every time you have a big idea, every time you think, I should get up early and work on my passion, your brain screams no. It triggers a fear response. It triggers fatigue. It floods you with excuses. I'm too tired. I'll start on Monday. I don't have enough information yet. What if I fail? That voice, that isn't you. That is the old programming. That is the old you fighting for its life. And right now, be honest with yourself. The old you is winning. The old you is running the show. You are sitting in the passenger seat of your own life, watching the car drive off a cliff of mediocrity, hoping that someone else is going to grab the wheel. But look around you. Look at the empty room. Look at the locked door. No one is coming. Jim Rohn said it best. And it is a chilling realization when it finally hits you. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is going to knock on your door, drag you out of bed, and force you to be the person you know you can be. If you want a different life, you have to break your own chains. You have to be the parent and the child, the general and the soldier. You have to give the order, and you have to obey it. This brings us to the core problem, the negotiation. Think about your morning. The alarm goes off. It's dark. It's cold. Your bed is warm. In that split second, a negotiation starts. On one side of the table is your potential, the version of you that is fit, wealthy, proud, disciplined. On the other side of the table is your weakness, the part of you that wants comfort, instant gratification, and safety. Most people, 99% of people, lose this negotiation within 3 seconds. They hit snooze. They say just 5 more minutes. And in that tiny silent decision, they have just taught their brain that their word means nothing. They have just voted for their weakness. They have just reinforced the identity of someone who quits. And you do this 10, 20, 50 times a day. You say you're going to eat healthy, but then you see the junk food and the negotiation starts. Just this once, you say. You lose. You say you're going to focus on your work, but your phone buzzes. I'll just check it for a second. You say. You lose. You are losing the battle for your own soul, one micro decision at a time. And the tragedy is that you think these small moments don't matter. You think I'll make it up tomorrow, but there is no tomorrow. There is only a string of todays. And if you cannot command yourself today, If you cannot force your body to move when your mind is screaming, "Stop right now," what makes you think the future will be any different? You have to stop negotiating. You have to become unreasonable. There is a concept in Stoicism, a concept of duty. Not duty to a boss or a government, but duty to the divine spark within you. When Marcus Aurelius dragged himself out of bed to rule the Roman Empire, he didn't do it because he was motivated. He did it because he was human. And humans are built to work, to create, to build. He asked himself, was I made for this? To lie under the blankets and keep warm? You have to ask yourself that same question. Were you created to scroll through social media for 4 hours a day, watching other people live the life you want? Were you created to be a consumer of other people's success? Or were you created to be a force? Let's talk about that word, force. Because the modern world has made us soft. We are told to be gentle with ourselves. We are told to practice self-care every time things get a little difficult. And yes, rest is important. But for most of you, you don't need more rest. You have rested enough. You have been resting for years. What you need is fire. What you need is pressure to force yourself. Doesn't mean you hate yourself. It is actually the highest form of love. Think about a parent with a child. If the child wants to eat candy for dinner and play video games until 3 a.m., the parent says no. The parent forces the child to eat vegetables and go to bed. Why? Because the parent loves the child enough to do what is best for them, not what feels good in the moment. You have to become the parent to your own mind. You have to love yourself enough to say no to the impulses that are destroying you. You have to love your future self more than you love your present comfort. When you force yourself to take action, when you step into the cold shower, when you sit down at the desk, when you walk into the gym, you are doing something profound. You are rewriting your biology. You are telling your nervous system, I am in charge here. And here is the secret that no one tells you about motivation. Motivation does not cause action. Action causes motivation. You are waiting to feel the fire before you light the match. It doesn't work that way. You light the match by moving. You strike the friction by acting. Do you think the great writers of history always felt inspired? No. They sat down at the typewriter and they bled. They forced the words out until the flow caught up with them. Do you think the Olympic athlete wants to train at 4 a.m. in the rain? No. But they move their body and the mind follows. You have to disconnect your ability to work from your emotional state. This is the superpower. If you can only work when you feel good, you are a slave to your hormones, the weather, and the mood of the people around you. You are fragile. But if you can work when you are sad, if you can work when you are anxious, if you can work when you are heartbroken, tired, and uninspired, then you are unstoppable. There is nothing the world can do to a person who functions regardless of how they feel. But how? How do you actually do this when the weight feels like 1,000 pounds? You have to destroy the old you. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, spoke about the necessity of death for rebirth. Not a physical death, but a psychological one. You are walking around carrying a corpse. The version of you that is lazy, fearful, addicted to validation, and obsessed with comfort, that person has to die. You cannot drag that person to the mountaintop. They are too heavy. You have to burn the bridge. You have to create a situation where you have no choice but to move forward. This is why Plan B is a dangerous thing. As long as you have a safety net, as long as you have a comfortable place to retreat to, you will never fight with the ferocity of someone who has no other option. Look at your life right now. Look at the clutter in your room. That is a reflection of the clutter in your mind. Look at your schedule. That is a reflection of your priorities. Look at your bank account. That is a reflection of your discipline. The external world is just a mirror. If you don't like the reflection, don't try to polish the mirror. You have to change the person standing in front of it. You have to start small, but you have to be ruthless. The 5-minute rule is not just a productivity hack. It is a psychological weapon. When you feel that resistance, that heavy sticky glue that holds you in your chair. You tell yourself, I will do this for just 5 minutes. Why does this work? Because the hardest part of any rocket launch is the liftoff. It takes more fuel to get the rocket off the ground than it does to fly it around the earth. The resistance is in the start. Once you are moving, momentum takes over. Newton's law applies to your soul. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. Force the motion. Stand up. Literally, right now, as you listen to this, stand up. Pace the room. Do a push-up. Write one sentence. Wash one dish. Break the static friction. Prove to your brain that you can override the command to wait. And you must be prepared to walk alone. This is the part that breaks people's hearts, but you need to know it. When you start to change, when you start to force yourself to improve, people around you will get uncomfortable. Your growth shines a light on their stagnation. Your discipline insults their laziness. They will say, why are you working so hard? They will say, you've changed. They will say, come on, live a little. They are trying to pull you back into the bucket. They want the old you back because the old you made them feel safe. The new you challenges them. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to be called obsessed. You have to be willing to spend Friday nights working on your dream while your friends are out escaping their reality. Solitude is the price of greatness. In the silence, when there is no applause, no likes on social media, no one patting you on the back, that is where the work is done. That is where the character is forged. You have to shift your identity. This is the deepest level of change. As long as you see yourself as a lazy person trying to be productive, you will fail because you will always snap back to your baseline. You have to hallucinate your new reality until it becomes the truth. You don't say, I'm trying to quit smoking. You say, I am not a smoker. You don't say, I'm trying to run. You say, I am a runner. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. When you are trying, you are leaving the door open for failure. When you are simply acting in alignment with your nature. A runner runs. A writer writes. A leader leads. You simply do what you are, but you have to prove it to yourself. Confidence doesn't come from affirmations in the mirror. You can't chant your way to self-belief. Confidence comes from a stack of undeniable proof. It comes from looking at your day and saying, I said I would do it, and I did it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you add a brick to the castle of your confidence. Every time you break a promise, you take a brick away. Right now, some of you are living in a pile of rubble. You have broken so many promises to yourself that you don't trust a word you say. When you say, I'm going to start on Monday, you know you're lying. Your brain knows you're lying. The only way to fix this, the only way is to start keeping the promises, not the big ones. Don't promise to change your whole life overnight. Promise to wake up 10 minutes early and do it. Promise to drink water instead of soda and do it. Promise to read one page and do it. Force the small wins, because small wins are not small. They are the evidence that you are regaining control. They are the signal that the captain is back at the wheel. And let's talk about time, because you think you have it. You think you have time to figure this out. You think you have time to waste another year planning. But time is not just passing, it is decaying. Every day you wait, the hill gets steeper. The law of diminishing intent states that the longer you wait to take action on an idea, the less likely you are to ever do it. The emotion fades, the inspiration dies, and you are left with the cold, hard reality of inertia. Regret is a ghost that haunts you slowly. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It whispers when you see someone else succeeding at the thing you wanted to do. It whispers when you look in the mirror and see the gray hairs coming in. It whispers, that could have been you. Napoleon Hill talked about the drifting mind. The mind that has no purpose, no direction, that just floats along with the current of life. The devil, he said, controls people through neglect, through indifference, through the simple act of not choosing. By not deciding to improve, you have made a decision. You have decided to decline. There is no standing still in nature. You are either growing or you are dying. You are either climbing or you are sliding. If you are not forcing yourself up, gravity is pulling you down. So stop looking for the hack. Stop looking for the easy way. Stop looking for the shortcut. There is no elevator to the top. You have to take the stairs, and the stairs are steep, and your legs will burn, and you will be out of breath. But the pain of discipline is temporary. It hurts in the moment. It is sharp. But the pain of regret, that is chronic. That lasts forever. That is a dull, heavy ache that never goes away. You have to choose your pain. You cannot avoid pain in this life. You can only choose which pain you will carry. Will you carry the pain of the gym or the pain of illness? Will you carry the pain of studying or the pain of ignorance? Will you carry the pain of rejection or the pain of never having tried? Force yourself to choose the pain that leads to growth. And you must understand the concept of scarcity versus abundance in your own effort. Many of you are hoarding your effort. You are afraid to go all in because you are afraid of looking stupid if it doesn't work. You give 50% so that if you fail, you can say, well, I didn't really try. That is a coward's strategy. That is a strategy designed to protect your ego, not to build your life. You have to be willing to look foolish. You have to be willing to fail publicly. You have to be willing to be the person who tries too hard. Because the person who tries too hard eventually becomes the person who wins. The person who plays it cool stays cold. You need to audit your life right now, not later. Mental clutter is the enemy of execution. You cannot focus when your mind is full of noise. You have to clear the decks. What are you watching? Who are you listening to? What are you eating? Who are you spending time with? Every input affects the output. If you are feeding your mind with garbage, fear-mongering news, mindless celebrity gossip, negative people, you cannot expect to produce greatness. You are trying to run a Ferrari on sand. You have to ruthlessly eliminate the distractions. And this hurts. It means unfollowing accounts that make you feel like crap. It means saying goodbye to friends who are committed to their own mediocrity. It means turning off the TV and sitting in the silence. Blaise Pascal said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Because when you sit alone, the truth comes up. The distractions are there to drown out the truth. When you turn off the noise, you have to face yourself. You have to face the void. And that is where the magic happens, in the void, in the boredom. When you are bored, your brain searches for stimulation. If you remove the cheap stimulation, the phone, the TV, your brain will eventually turn to creation. It will turn to problem solving. You will get your best ideas when you force yourself to be bored. You must become the architect of your own environment. If you want to work out, put your gym clothes next to your bed. If you want to write, put the book on your pillow. If you want to eat healthy, throw the junk food in the trash. Do not rely on willpower. In the moment of weakness, willpower is a limited resource. It is a battery that drains throughout the day. By 8 p.m., your willpower is gone. So you must use your morning willpower to design an evening where you can't fail. This is what the Greeks called the Ulysses Pact. Ulysses knew that when he heard the sirens sing, he would lose his mind and steer the ship into the rocks. He didn't trust his future self, so he ordered his men to tie him to the mast. He forced consistency by removing the choice. You have to tie yourself to the mast. Make the decision once so you don't have to make it 1,000 times. If the decision is already made, there is no negotiation. I work out at 6 a.m. That's the rule. There is no do I feel like it? There is no is it raining? It is simply what happens at 6 a.m. It is a law. And as you begin this process of forcing yourself, as you begin to kill the old you will encounter the dip. This is the point where the initial excitement fades, but the results haven't shown up yet. This is the valley of death for most dreams. You start the diet, and 2 weeks later, the scale hasn't moved. You start the business, and nobody buys. You write the book, and nobody reads it. This is the test. The universe is testing your resolve. It is asking, do you really want this? Or are you just a tourist? Tourists leave when it rains. Residents stay. You have to decide to be a resident of your new life. You have to commit to the process, not the result. If you are only working for the applause, you will quit in the silence. But if you are working for the mastery, if you are working because you demand excellence from yourself, then the results are just a bonus. The reward is the work itself. The reward is knowing that you conquered the voice in your head that said, stop. Think about the last time you truly felt proud of yourself. Not the time you got lucky, but the time you did something hard. The time you wanted to quit, but you didn't. The time you were exhausted, but you finished the job. That feeling, that deep, glowing sense of self-respect, that is better than any drug. That is better than any distraction. And it is available to you every single day. But it has a price tag. And the price is discomfort. You have to learn to eat discomfort for breakfast. You have to learn to look at a difficult task and say, this is good. This is resistance. And resistance creates strength. Do you think a muscle grows by lifting a feather? No. It grows by tearing. It grows by being pushed to the point of failure. Your character is the same. If your life is easy, if you never force yourself to do things you hate, your character is atrophying. You are becoming weak, and weak people are dangerous. Weak people are resentful. Weak people blame the world for their problems. Strong people take responsibility. Strong people look at the mess and say, I will clean this. Strong people look at the mountain and say, I will climb this. And you are strong. You have forgotten it, but it is in your DNA. Your ancestors survived ice ages, wars, famines, and plagues so that you could sit here today. You come from a long line of survivors. Do not let that line end with you sitting on the couch, afraid to try. Force yourself to honor them. Force yourself to honor the potential that was placed inside you. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The conditions will never be perfect. You will never have enough money, enough time, or enough energy. Start where you are with what you have. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Theodore Roosevelt said that. It is the antidote to perfectionism. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy suit. It is fear masking as high standards. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be in motion. A jagged line that moves upward is better than a straight line that stays flat. Make a mess, make mistakes, stumble, fall, but fall forward. When you force yourself to take action, you create a feedback loop. You act, you see a result, you learn, you adjust, and you act again. This is the cycle of evolution. If you stand still, you learn nothing. You are trapping yourself in a theoretical prison, worrying about problems that don't even exist yet. Get into the arena, get dirt on your face. And I want to address the fear of selfishness. Many of you hesitate to focus on yourself because you think it's selfish. You think you should be helping others. You think you should be available to everyone 24/7, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are broken, if you are unfulfilled, if you are not growing, what value can you truly give to the world? Your best contribution to the world is to become the best version of yourself. When you improve, you give everyone around you permission to improve. When you shine, you light up the room for everyone else. By playing small, you serve no one. By hiding your light, you save no one. So, the time for excuses is over. The time for tomorrow is gone. There is only the ruthless, immediate now. What are you going to do when this video ends? Not what are you going to plan? Not what are you going to think about? What physical action are you going to take? Will you stand up? Will you write the email? Will you put on the running shoes? Will you throw away the cigarettes? The distance between the life you have and the life you want is not measured in miles. It is measured in action. It is measured in the millisecond moment where you choose to force yourself to move. Don't let this be another video you just watch. Don't let this be another dopamine hit that makes you feel like you did something when you didn't. The world rewards those who execute. The world bends to the will of those who refuse to stop. Be the force. Be the storm. Be the one who decided that good enough is no longer enough. You have to understand that this journey, this path of forcing improvement, it is not a straight line, it is a spiral. You will circle back to the same problems, but you will be at a higher level. You will face the same laziness, but you will be stronger. But you have to start the spiral. Now that you are standing, now that the spiral has begun, we have to talk about the mechanics of the climb. Because inspiration is smoke. Smoke clears. And when the smoke clears, you are left with the cold, hard machinery of your daily life. Most people fail here. They watch the video, they feel the surge, they buy the journal, and then they crash against the wall of their own biology. You need to understand what you are up against. You are fighting millions of years of evolution. Your brain is an energy-conserving machine. It is wired to seek the path of least resistance. It wants the sugar, it wants the safety, it wants the scroll. When you try to force yourself to work, you are literally fighting your own physiology. There is a specific part of your brain, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Neuroscientists have found that this is the seat of your will to live. This is the engine of I don't want to, but I will. In people who are depressed, who are defeated, this area is shrunken. In people who do hard things, who force themselves into the fire, this area grows. It physically gets larger. You are not just building a habit, you are building a muscle in your brain. And like any muscle, it only grows under tension. It only grows when you are pushing against the heavy weight of I don't feel like it. If you only work when it flows, if you only work when you are in the zone, that muscle atrophies. You become weak. So stop looking for the flow state. The flow state is a luxury. The grind is the necessity. You have to fall in love with the friction. You have to wake up, feel that heavy resistance in your chest, and say, good, the gym is open. But willpower is a battery, and batteries run out. You cannot white-knuckle your way through life. If you rely on willpower alone, you will break. You need to build a machine that makes success inevitable. You need systems. James Clear, the architect of habits, gave us the brutal truth. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. A goal is just a wish. I want to be rich is a wish. I want to be fit is a wish. A system is a protocol. A system is a relentless automated process that happens whether you are happy, sad, or sick. You have to design your life so that doing the right thing is the path of least resistance. This is the architecture of choice. Look at your environment. Right now, your environment is designed to keep you small. Your phone is on the desk, buzzing with dopamine hits. Your remote is on the couch. Your junk food is on the counter. You are fighting a war on a battlefield designed by your enemy. Flip the board. If you want to read, the book must be on your pillow, and the phone must be in the other room. If you want to work, the browser tabs must be closed, and the internet must be blocked. You have to treat your future self like a toddler that cannot be trusted. You have to baby-proof your life against your own weakness. This is the Ulysses Pact. In the Odyssey, Ulysses knew he wasn't strong enough to resist the sirens. He didn't say, I'll just try harder. He didn't say, I'll manifest strength. No, he bound himself. He created a physical constraint that made failure impossible. You need to bind yourself. If you can't stop spending money, you freeze the credit card in a block of ice. If you can't stop scrolling, you delete the app. Not hide the app, delete it, burn the ships. When you leave yourself an exit strategy, you will take it. When retreat is impossible, victory becomes the only option. And this brings us to the most dangerous trap of all, perfectionism. Perfectionism is not a virtue. It is a virus. It is fear dressed up in a tuxedo. You tell yourself, I have high standards. No, you don't. You have high anxiety. You are terrified of being seen as a beginner. You are terrified of producing something average. So you plan, you research, you organize the files, you pick the perfect font, and you produce nothing. You have to embrace the philosophy of quantity. There is a famous parable about a ceramics class. The teacher told half the class, you will be graded on the quantity of pots you make. If you make 50 pounds of pots, you get an A. He told the other half, you will be graded on quality. You only have to make one pot, but it must be perfect. At the end of the semester, the quantity group produced the best pots. Why? Because they were churning. They were making mistakes. They were throwing clay, ruining it, learning, and throwing again. The quality group sat there theorizing about the perfect pot and produced a lump of average clay. You are the quality group. You are sitting there theorizing about your perfect life, while someone else, someone less talented, less smart, but more aggressive, is out there failing their way to success. Version 1 is better than version none. A bad workout is better than no workout. A messy page is better than a blank page. You have to lower the bar for starting and raise the bar for finishing. This is where the 2-minute rule saves you. The brain fears the mountain. It fears the hour-long run. It fears the 5,000-word essay. So you lie to it. You say, I will not run. I will just put on my shoes and step outside. I will not write the book. I will just write one sentence. Once you cross that threshold of activation energy, the physics change. It is easier to keep moving than to start moving, but you have to trick the limbic system to get through the door. And once you are in the work, you must defend it with your life. This is the concept of time boxing. But I want you to think of it as a time bunker. The modern world is a conspiracy of interruption. Everyone wants a piece of you. Your boss, your friends, the news, the algorithm, they are all thieves. They are stealing the only non-renewable resource you have. You must carve out deep work hours. These are sacred. During these hours, you do not exist to the world. The phone is off. The door is locked. If the house is on fire, they can call the fire department. Unless someone is dying, you do not break the seal. The Eisenhower matrix teaches us to separate the urgent from the important. Most of your day is spent on the urgent. The emails, the texts, the petty crises of other people. The important, your health, your business, your skill, is rarely urgent. It sits quietly in the corner, waiting. And because it doesn't scream, you ignore it. You have to neglect the urgent to feed the important. You have to be willing to let some small fires burn so you can build the castle. You have to be willing to be bad at email so you can be great at your craft. And let's be honest about what this feels like. It feels boring. We are addicted to the montage. We watch movies where the hero transforms in 3 minutes of upbeat music. We don't see the 10 years of silent, repetitive, unsexy grind. We don't see the 4 a.m. mornings where nothing happens. We don't see the days when the business is flatlining. Consistency is boring. And because it is boring, most people quit. They are looking for the dopamine spike. They are looking for the applause. When the applause doesn't come, they think something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. This is the work. The ability to do the same boring thing over and over and over again with the same intensity and focus is the only difference between an amateur and a master. An amateur practices until they get it right. A master practices until they can't get it wrong. You have to fall in love with the plateau. You have to find a Zen-like peace in the repetition. Chop wood, carry water, write the code, send the email, lift the weight, eat the protein. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. There is no hack. There is no secret sauce. The secret is that you just don't stop hitting the rock until it breaks. And while you are hitting that rock, you must practice amor fati, the love of fate. This is the Stoic weapon. When things go wrong, and they will go wrong, you do not complain. You do not wish it were different. You accept it and you use it. You didn't get the funding. Good. Now you own 100% of the company. You have to be leaner. You have to be smarter. You got injured? Good. Now you can focus on your flexibility, your mind, your recovery. You lost a relationship? Good. Now you have the solitude you needed to find yourself. The obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. The resistance is the raw material you use to build your character. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to teach me? But to do this, to live this way, you have to perform a social audit. This is the hardest part for many of you. You are tethered to people who are drowning and you are trying to swim. You cannot save them if they pull you down. There is a concept called the crab bucket. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it can climb out. But if you put a bunch of crabs in, whenever one tries to climb, the others pull it back down. They don't do it out of malice, they do it out of instinct. Your friends, your family, your old circle, they are the crabs. When you start to force yourself to improve, when you start waking up early, when you stop drinking, when you stop gossiping, they will feel threatened. Your discipline holds up a mirror to their regret. They will say, you're no fun anymore. They will say, you're working too hard. They will say, who do you think you are? You have to be willing to be the villain in their story so you can be the hero in yours. You have to be willing to walk alone. The air is thinner at the top and there are fewer people. That is the price of admission. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. If you are the most disciplined person in your circle is making you soft. You need to force yourself into rooms where you are the small fish, rooms where people are playing a game so big it scares you. Environment is contagious. Ambition is contagious. Laziness is contagious. You catch the habits of the people you touch. If you hang around 5 broke people, you will be the 6th. If you hang around 5 complainers, you will be the 6th. But if you hang around 5 people who are savage with their time, who are relentless with their growth, you cannot help but level up. It is osmosis. So look at your phone contacts. Look at your last 10 texts. Are these people adding fuel to your fire or are they pissing on it? Cut the dead weight. It sounds cruel, but it is necessary. You have a duty to your potential, and you cannot fulfill that duty while carrying the emotional baggage of people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And you must do this with speed, because you are suffering from a delusion. The delusion that you have time. The Stoics carried coins in their pockets, skulls on their desks. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. It is not morbid. It is vital. It is the only thing that snaps you out of the trance. You are acting like you are going to live forever. You are delaying your life as if you have an infinite bank account of days. You don't. You are a dying man. You are a dying woman. The clock started ticking the moment you took your first breath, and it has never stopped. Every second that ticks by is a second you will never get back. Think about the project you've been thinking about for 3 years. If you had started 3 years ago, where would you be today? Think about the body you wanted 5 years ago. If you had just done the work, you would have it now. The time is going to pass anyway. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The only question is, who will arrive? Will it be the person who built a legacy, or the person who built a list of excuses? Regret is the accumulation of letters. I'll do it later. I'll tell them later. I'll start later. Later is the grave where dreams are buried. You have to develop a sense of positive paranoia. You have to feel like the world is moving on without you, because it is. The market doesn't wait for you to be ready. Your children don't stop growing while you figure out your career. Your health doesn't pause while you finish the season of that show. Life is a moving train. You either jump on or you get left on the platform. So how do we execute? How do we take all this philosophy and turn it into kinetic energy? You need a commitment device. You need to put something on the line. If you say, I'm going to write a book, nobody cares. If you write a check for $1,000 to a political party you hate and give it to a friend and say, if I don't finish the first chapter by Friday, mail this check, suddenly you will find the motivation. You have to raise the stakes. We are wired to avoid loss more than we are wired to seek gain. Use that fear. Hack your own psychology. Stop trusting your future self. Your future self is a stranger. You think your future self will be disciplined, energetic, and focused. No, your future self will be just as tired and lazy as you are today. Unless you force the change now, you have to parent yourself. And sometimes parenting requires a heavy hand. Stop negotiating with the terrorists in your mind. The part of you that wants to hit snooze, that is a terrorist, it is holding your dreams hostage. You don't negotiate. You don't have a conversation. You execute the order. Get up, move, write, lift. It is a command, not a suggestion. And in this process, you must learn the art of via negativa, improvement by subtraction. We always think we need to add things to our lives to get better. We need a new app, a new supplement, a new course. No, you need to remove the distractions, remove the toxic people, remove the junk food, remove the wasted hours, remove the need for approval. The statue is already inside the block of marble. Your job is not to build the statue. Your job is to chip away everything that is not the statue. You are already powerful. You are already capable, but you are buried under layers of noise and nonsense. Chip it away, strike the chisel, it will hurt. You are losing parts of yourself. You are losing the parts that kept you safe. You are losing the identity of the victim. Many of you are in love with your own suffering. You love being the person who tries hard but never makes it. It's a safe identity. It gets you sympathy. People say, oh, you work so hard, it's not your fault. It is your fault. And that is the most liberating news you will ever hear. Because if it is your fault, that means it is in your control. If it is the economy or the government or your parents, then you are a victim. You are a leaf in the wind. But if it is you, if it is your lack of discipline, your lack of focus, your lack of guts, then you can fix it. You can fix it right now, but you have to stop preparing to work. Do you know how much time you waste getting ready? You clean the desk, you make the coffee, you check the email, you check the news, you adjust the chair. This is all fear. This is resistance disguised as productivity. Amateurs prepare, professionals launch. Start before you are ready. Start before you have the gear. Start before you know what you are doing. Action creates clarity. You cannot steer a parked car, you have to get moving, and then you can adjust the course. You are waiting for a map. There is no map. You are the explorer. You have to machete your way through the jungle. And yes, you will get cut. You will get lost. You will be exhausted. But that is the adventure. That is the glory. Do you want a safe life or do you want a great life? You cannot have both. Safety is the grave of potential. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. You have to force yourself to step into the zone of proximal development. That is the psychological term for the space just beyond your current ability. The place where you might fail. The place where you feel stupid. If you are not feeling stupid, you are not learning. If you are not struggling, you are not growing. If you are the best person in the room, you are stagnant. Seek the struggle. Seek the heat. When you go to the gym, you don't count the reps that are easy. You count the reps that shake. The reps where your face turns red, where your muscles scream. Those are the reps that change you. Life is the same. The easy days don't count. The days when everything goes right don't count. The days when you are heartbroken, broke, tired, and lonely, and you still show up. Those are the reps that build the soul. And let's talk about focus. Focus is not just looking at one thing. Focus is saying no to 100 other good ideas. You have to become a sniper. You cannot hunt 5 rabbits at once. If you try, you catch none. Pick the one thing, the one lever that moves the world, and apply all your force to that one point. The sun warms the earth, but a laser cuts through steel. Be the laser. This requires a brutal no. You have to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. You have to say no to quick cash so you can build long-term wealth. You have to say no to the party so you can build the physique. Discipline is the art of saying no to the present so you can say yes to the future. It is an investment. You are trading a cheap pleasure now for a deep satisfaction later, but you have to trust the compound interest. Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world. It applies to money, but it applies more to habit. 1% better every day. It doesn't look like much. In a week, you see nothing. In a month, you see a little. But in a year, you are 37 times better. 37 times. But the reverse is true. 1% worse every day, 1% more lazy, 1% more distracted, and you drift down to 0. You are never standing still. You are compounding up, or you are compounding down. Which way is your graph going? Look at your last week. Be honest. Did you move the needle? Or did you just tread water? treading water is drowning in slow motion, forced to swim, forced to stroke, and understand that motivation is a fair weather friend. It's the friend who only shows up when the party is good. Discipline is the friend who helps you move the body at 3 a.m. Stop waiting for the fair weather friend. He isn't coming. You have to marry the process. You have to divorce the result. This is a spiritual shift. When you are obsessed with the result, the money, the rank, the prize, you are anxious. You are worried. What if I don't get it? But when you are obsessed with the process, the daily mastery, the daily win, you are in control. The result is out of your hands. The market decides. The voters decide. The algorithm decides. The effort, that is 100% in your hands. The focus, 100% in your hands. The attitude, 100% in your hands. Stoicism teaches the dichotomy of control. Focus only on what you can control and ignore the rest. If you tie your happiness to things outside your control, you are a slave. If you tie your happiness to your own conduct, you are free. Be free. Force yourself to be free from the opinion of others. Force yourself to be free from the slavery of your impulses. Force yourself to be free from the chains of your past. You are writing a new story. And in this story, the hero doesn't wait. The hero acts. The hero realizes that the cave they fear to enter holds the treasure they seek. And now we look forward. We have spoken about the pain. We have spoken about the struggle. We have spoken about the necessary destruction of who you used to be. But now I want you to see what happens when you win. I want you to see what is waiting for you on the other side of that wall you have been staring at for so long. Because there is a reason we do this. We do not force ourselves to suffer just for the sake of suffering. We are not masochists, we are alchemists. We endure the heat of the fire so that we can turn the lead of our potential into the gold of our legacy. Imagine for a moment that you actually do it. Imagine you stop negotiating. Imagine you stop quitting. Imagine you wake up every single day for the next year and you execute without mercy. Do you know what happens? The noise stops. That constant buzzing anxiety in the back of your head, the one that whispers, you should be doing more. The one that screams, you are wasting your life, it goes silent. And in its place, a new sound begins, the sound of absolute, unshakable silence. This is the silence of self-trust. For years, you have been a liar to yourself. You promised you would change and you didn't. You promised you would work and you slept. You broke your own word so many times that your soul stopped believing you. But when you force yourself to improve, when you stack day after day of kept promises, you rebuild that bridge. You look in the mirror and you no longer see a stranger. You no longer see a disappointment. You see a force of nature. You look in your own eyes and you see a person who says, I will, and then does. That level of confidence cannot be bought. It cannot be faked. It cannot be given to you by a guru or a motivational seminar. It is earned in the trenches of your own discipline. And when you walk into a room carrying that energy, the world shifts. People can smell it on you. They can smell the discipline. They can sense that you are not a person who drifts like a leaf in the wind. You are a person who moves with the weight of a freight train. You don't have to shout. You don't have to brag. Your presence alone commands respect because it is backed by the undeniable evidence of your work. This is the state of becoming. Miles Monroe said that the wealthiest place on the planet is not the oil fields of the Middle East or the diamond mines of Africa. It is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard are buried books that were never written, songs that were never sung, ideas that were never shared, cures that were never discovered. There are millions of people who died full. They died holding on to their potential. They died protecting their comfort, and they took their greatness with them into the ground. You must vow right now to die empty. You must vow to squeeze every single drop of talent, every single drop of passion, every single drop of energy out of your soul before you take your last breath. You are not here to preserve yourself. You are here to spend yourself. You are here to use yourself up. And this is where the journey shifts from being about you to being about them. As long as you are stuck in your laziness, you are selfish. That is the hard truth. When you are broke, tired, and unfulfilled, you are consumed by your own survival. You cannot help anyone else because you cannot even help yourself. You are a black hole, sucking in energy, attention, and resources. But when you force yourself to improve, when you fill your own cup until it overflows, you become a fountain. You become a resource for the world. Think of your family, think of your children or your future children. They are watching you. They are not listening to your lectures. They are watching your life. If you tell them to dream big, but you live small, they will learn to be liars. But if you show them through your sweat, through your sacrifice, through your relentless refusal to give up what it looks like to conquer a mountain, you give them permission to be great. Your discipline is a generational inheritance. You are breaking chains that have held your family back for decades. Maybe you come from a line of addiction. Maybe you come from a line of poverty. Maybe you come from a line of fear. It stops with you. You are the checkpoint. You are the one who stands on the line and says, this trauma goes no further. This mediocrity goes no further. From me onward, we rise. That is a burden, yes, but it is a glorious burden. It is the burden of the king. It is the burden of the warrior. And as you evolve, as you force this evolution, you will begin to experience a level of life that the old you could not even comprehend. We talk so much about the pain of discipline, but we rarely talk about the joy of power. There is a specific electric joy in knowing that you are in control of your own existence. When you see a challenge and you know with a 100% certainty that you have the mental tools to dismantle it, that is freedom. Real freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. It is the ability to do what you must, regardless of how you feel. You will start to see the world differently. You will stop seeing problems. You will start seeing puzzles. You will stop seeing barriers. You will start seeing tests. You will realize that the universe was not conspiring against you. It was training you. It was putting weight on the bar to see if you were ready to lift it. And now you are ready. But you must understand that this victory is not a destination. You do not climb the mountain, plant the flag, and then sit down and rot. The moment you stop climbing, you start sliding. Success is not a trophy. It is a lease, and rent is due every single day. The new you understands this. The new you falls in love with the rent. The new you loves the feeling of paying the price, because paying the price guarantees that you still own the house. You are building a legacy that will outlast your physical body. When you are gone, what will remain? Will it be a dent in the couch, or will it be a dent in the universe? Napoleon Hill spoke of the mastermind, the idea that when you align your thoughts with action, you tap into a higher power. You become a channel for something greater than yourself. When you force yourself to work on your craft, you are not just typing words or lifting weights. You are honoring the creator who gave you the ability to do it. You are saying thank you with your effort. To waste your potential is the ultimate act of ingratitude. So let us look at the timeline. Let us look at the urgency. You think you have 20 years. You think you have 10 years. You don't. You have today. And then, if you are lucky, you have tomorrow. But the string can be cut at any moment. There is an old Stoic exercise. Imagine you have died. Your life is over. The story is finished. Now, imagine you are given one more chance. You are sent back to this very moment, right now, to live again. How would you live this extra life? Would you waste it scrolling? Would you waste it worrying about what people think? Would you waste it being afraid of failure? Or would you attack it with the ferocity of a dying man who has been given a reprieve? You are that person. You have been given the reprieve. This moment is the second chance. The past is dead. The mistakes you made, the time you wasted, the opportunities you missed, they are gone. They are ashes. Do not carry the urn of your past failures with you. Pour the ashes out and walk away. You are starting from zero right now. And zero is a beautiful place to be, because from zero, there is only up. I want you to visualize the version of you that is waiting 5 years from now. If you stay on the current path, if you don't force the change, what does that person look like? Look at them. Look at their eyes. Are they dull? Are they filled with regret? Are they looking at the ground? Look at their body. Is it weak? Look at their life. Is it small? That person is begging you to change. That person is screaming at you across time. Do not create me. Do not let me exist. Now, visualize the other version. The version that exists if you force yourself to improve. If you take action today and tomorrow and the next day. Look at that person, standing tall, shoulders back, eyes burning with intensity and peace. They are holding the life you dream of. They have the career, the body, the family, the impact. They are looking back at you right now with gratitude. They are saying, thank you for doing the hard thing. Thank you for not hitting snooze. Thank you for fighting through the darkness so that I could live in the light. Which version are you going to feed? The battle is not out there in the world. The battle is in this visualization. The battle is between the ghost of regret and the vision of power. And you cast your vote with your feet. You cast your vote with your hands. You cast your vote with movement. Jim Rohn said we must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But he didn't tell you the most important part. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. You are carrying a feather of discipline and you think it is heavy. Drop it, and the world will drop a ton of regret on your shoulders that you will never be able to take off. Do not choose the heavy weight, choose the sweat. Choose the early morning, choose the fear. Because on the other side of that fear is the person you were destined to be. We are coming to the end of this message, but this is not the end. This is the starting gun. The information you have absorbed in these minutes is useless if it stays in your head. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge without action is just trivia. You don't need more trivia. You need transformation. The world is waiting for you. It is waiting for your gift. It is waiting for your leadership. It is waiting for you to stop acting like a child and start moving like a master. Do not let the drift take you back. The moment this silence ends, the distractions will come rushing back in. The notifications will ding. The doubts will whisper. The couch will look comfortable. This is the moment of the kill. You have to kill the drift before it starts. You have to move before your brain has time to come up with an excuse. The universe favors the bold. It gets out of the way for the person who knows where they are going. Be that person. Force the door open. Kick it down if you have to. You have the blueprint. You have the tools. You have the reason. The only thing missing is the motion. Do not wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is a myth. The time is messy. The time is hard. And the time is now. Stop thinking. Stop planning. Stop wishing. Your new life costs your old one. It's time to pay the price. Get up.